to Earful of Dirt, bringing you the latest Major League Rugby news, views, and abuse. Now here are your hosts, Aaron, Dan, and Victor.
And we're live. How's it going, everyone? Let's just get into the rundown and talk some stuff. All right. Tonight we're going to hit up the America's Pacific Challenge, USA Selects versus Samoa A. That 30 minutes of that match is on the World Rugby Facebook in Spanish. And I have to say, I love rugby matches in Spanish. Old Blue, we're going to talk Old Blue, Merlins versus Old Blue New York, Life versus Nyack. I didn't see the match, but the scoreline is there. Life University's varsity side is playing in the American Rugby Premiership. Then we're going to talk front office stuff with strikers. Austin and NOLA have made a bunch of signings in the last week. And there was a partnership announced by the Seattle Seawolves. And then, all of your abuse and questions from Bob. So, first match is, if you haven't had a chance, was America's Pacific Challenge, USA Selects versus Samoa A. Final scoreline 24-48. Has anyone else had a chance to check that out?
Yes. Is that an open-ended question, or is that just a yes or no question? Yes, I have. I was able to watch it.
Both. It can go either way. That's not a directed question, of course. But, what'd you see, man?
It was definitely a fun match to watch. I happened to watch it right after watching a Premiership match, so the quality in play just completely switched. It was just kind of weird watching watching the one right after. Obviously, they lost. It is all developmental, so the wins and losses don't really matter too much, but it would have been nice to see better scoreline, sloppy play, but overall some encouraging things too, especially at the end of the first half, and then a bit more near the end of the second half. I was really looking for Sam Wuching. I really wanted to see him play since I haven't seen him play yet, and I couldn't find him anywhere because I didn't realize he actually shaved off his man bun. So I was really lost. They kept saying his name over and over again. I was like, where is he? I don't see him.
I watched the national anthem part, and I was like, wait, that's him?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell.
He was also a bit tanner, too, so it was like those two things together really threw me off. But overall, it was good to watch. I mean, Samoa's always kind of had our number for everything, really, so it is what it is. Anyone else? Victor, Corey?
I caught the first few minutes of the match. Then I had other things going on. But, once again, like Dan said, this is developmental, so that's part of it. These guys don't have much time to really gel as a team, and I think it's even worse when you're at this level as opposed to the elite level of the national team, because you have guys coming in that may be fresh off the club circuit and don't necessarily have that professional level experience. So I think that's one place where MLR can really aid in the development of these players, is that will get them some exposure in a more elite level style of play and to crowds and stuff like that, and maybe give them a chance to really start developing earlier rather than just when they get to the national side. So that's my only thought. Otherwise, there's some good stuff and there was some fun stuff to watch, but I only caught a little bit of it. So truthfully, I can't go too in depth as far as what went well and what didn't. So
I watched the game on the World Rugby Facebook page today. Only the first 30 minutes, of course, because something went wrong with their rebroadcast. But I was in a discussion yesterday about quality of players, quality of coaching, and whatnot. Before seeing the match. I was like, just going one for one because, Samoa, Fiji, Tonga, they basically they just have athletes everywhere. That's a fact. But I thought physically we matched up pretty well, decently in the scrum. Joaquin Montez, the ref, did not have control and really was unable to facilitate the match. Samoa had a headlock on one of her guys in like minute 2. In the second half, Henko Hamishais was given a red card because the assistant ref did not see that he was in a headlock and trying to get out. That red card has since been rescinded because the player Henko had shown contrition in front of the tournament sighting board, and also the film confirmed that he did not punch, was open-handed, pushing the other guy's head off. So there's that.
Did you actually see the video? Because I couldn't find it anywhere.
I mean it was in the second half, so I don't know. Yeah. And only the first 30 minutes were available of the match, and I know that they apparently only saw the attempt at extricating oneself from the situation and not, the headlock. And as we previously discussed last week with the Robert Paylor situation, I have no issues with any player trying to get themselves out of a similar situation because that's just dangerous and wrong. However, the officials for the match were not cited, and the other player was not cited by the citing commission for the tournament. But I thought we matched up pretty well. We played decent, good level, I would say high-level club rugby ball. And, so I really want to see where Scott Lawrence is. I don't, based on just, him working for Oracle and, at a high level, I don't think he's going to be the ARC coach. And he might be involved, but, the issue you run into is what happens if he gets deep into a project that commits you for like 2.5 months of prep to the national team. So that's pretty hard to do. The difference between us and the rest of these A sides, I think Canada's more similar, but their A side has been together longer than ours. Ours formed in Miami on Monday. So they were only able to practice together for 4 days before they had to fly to Montevideo. And, Samoa's, not that large geographically. Same with Tonga. I mean, Tonga and Samoa are island nations, and there's multiple islands. However, their programs are a little bit more centralized than ours. I know that Uruguay is very centralized compared to ours. Most of the national team plays in clubs in Montevideo. And then, obviously, Argentina 15s are pretty good.
Now, you guys also had the opportunity to watch the Merlins Old Blue match, I believe, this weekend. And didn't you guys actually do a match companion for that? Go live for a little while?
So myself and Victor were on for a little bit together, but I was on pretty much solo a lot. So I guess I got to practice my match commentating, and I thought I did okay. Victor told me I did perfect in an email, so I'm going to take that laurel and put it on the head. But, you really saw the depth of the Glendale program versus, one of the top clubs in the United States, which is Old Blue New York. Their first side scrum was either injured or called up for the Eagles Selects challenge. Both Old Blue and Glendale were missing capped players from the roster, and even some of the numbers didn't match because the roster I got showed James Bird as 22, but he was actually wearing 21, and then Tony Purpur started at tight head, but was wearing number 23. So I was like, what's going on? But you saw talent on both sides, but man, 41 points. It shows you what's going on. And I know some people are like, well, Glendale pays these players and they've had them together and they paid players last year. Yes. But they're still not practicing like, a professional side like the Strikers are, putting in about 20 to 25 hours a week. They're practicing about 15 hours a week, which is still more than any amateur club. Still more than Old Blue. Still more than. So, Victor, what do you think, man?
Well, I thought that, first of all, guys, good evening. Welcome to Earful of Dirt. What I thought was the fact that, I'm sorry, Aaron, that I couldn't be on the Match Companion often. I'm surprised you didn't mention why. But then was that I had a party
going on.
You
were chopping carrots.
And I was chopping, and I was not only chopping, I was grating carrots on top of that.
Wasn't there vacuuming going on at one point, too? It sounded very domestic.
I don't remember. No, that was not vacuuming.
Yeah, you said you were. I'm vacuuming right now for a party in an email.
Oh yes, but you guys didn't heard that because I wasn't doing it with the Match Companion. That would have been really rude. But I was. You mind that? No, I'm not that rude. No. But there was definitely some grating of carrots and going on. By the way, the party went great. Everyone left it, so that was really fun. But yeah, I just got snippets of the game. Actually, I'll be honest with you guys. This week went by, and it's now Monday, and I haven't really watched much rugby because I've been really tired with the party and a couple of other things. So it's been all over the place. That's the reason why I haven't watched this USA Samoa game and the snippets of this one that we have with Old Blue and Glendale Raptors. Glendale Merlins. Merlins. But nonetheless, of what I saw when I was paying attention, because again I was having a party, it was really great. I actually had one of my guests come in, and he saw because I have my laptop, the one that you're seeing right now, and I had the game on, and he came in and looked at it and said, "Oh, is that rugby?" I said, "Yeah, it is. Is that a Premiership?" And I just turned around and said, "No, that's New York. That's a New York team playing a team from Glendale, Colorado." So, "Oh, that's nice," but he just like threw me for a loop that he knew what the Premiership was, and then then I asked, "Wait a minute," because I forgot his name, and I said, "Wait a minute, dude, how do you know that?" I said, "Oh no, because I just caught it on NBC once." So again, I'm glad that NBC showing up the games gets people randomly watching, so that's really cool. Again, they just need to put a couple more games. So it's great. It really threw me off the fact that he's a Premiership. And I said, wow, how do you know the Premiership? Because you don't look like someone that actually follows
This is what they want. They want people to just stumble upon this.
Exactly, yes. That's great. Now, imagine dad, and we're talking about an adult. Now, imagine dad with a kid, and then the kid looks at it and says, oh my God, that's so great. That's why we're not. So that's great. It's really good. But yeah, guys, that scoreline was ridiculous, 76-35. You know, credit to All Blue, they did way better than Mystic River, so I give them that much. But besides that, that was a blowout victory.
Yeah, that's why I didn't watch the match, because I heard the score. I was like, I don't really have interest in watching this. Glendale's just on a whole new level, basically, with their organization. I saw on Facebook there was a post, and it was about their U20 squad. It was just hearing, I think it was Dallin Stanford or whatever his name is, interview the head coach. Like, it's just kind of incredible having that academy system. And those are also most likely potential future Eagles too. So it's great seeing what they're doing here. And this is just one team before MLR even starts. The goal is for every single team to have their own academy, at least some sort of like U20 system. So if we can have 15, 20 players playing together nonstop, consistently, I mean, hell, that's basically our national team's development system right there. It's better than it right now.
Yeah, for sure. And so getting into the final score that we'll talk about tonight, I haven't seen this match. I know that our friends at Red, White, and Black Eye are not having a pod, so I wonder if any of them saw this. So Life University's varsity side, so their first side, beat Nyack 34-31 in the American Rugby Premiership. Like I said, I haven't seen it, but if this doesn't make them the #1 contender for the D1A title, I don't know what else would. We'll see really how far ahead they are when they play Glendale next week.
Yeah, good luck to them.
Yeah, good luck to you guys. Anything, guys, on that one? Or do I offload to Dan for a front office signing?
Yeah, sexy front office signing.
Offload?
Offload to me then. It looks like the Strikers hired Trey Preston as the director of operations for their team. I don't think this is even an official announcement. I was just scrolling through Twitter, and I saw a couple players saying like congratulations to this guy, and I clicked on it, and he said like thank you Strikers for having me on as the director of operations. I don't exactly know what the director of operations does, but it seems like it's more behind the scenes kind of guy, just helping build the team together. He apparently coached basketball at his alma mater, and was an assistant at University of Houston in the mid-2000s. I don't know much about that. I think that was Aaron who posted that little tidbit. I kind of just took the news and said great, but I think you dug a lot deeper into this guy.
I was able to find some stuff and just glance at it, but I mean, he owns his own company, does like young athlete development, and his last job was working in operations and athletic recruitment with Athlete Training and Health. Athlete Training and Health is a big strength and conditioning facility that works with young athletes, and it's sort of like sort of similar to the Exos facilities that are nationwide, but they have two of these massive sports physical conditioning places in Houston, one in North and one in South Houston. And so he just spent time there, and he's now working for the Strikers. So, and I think Victor, to you, man.
Yeah, so we got some player signings. I'm not Victor, but I'll go ahead and cue him up. It looks like, the floodgates are starting to open, and we got news out of NOLA and Austin Elite. So, Victor, what are you hearing, man?
Well, guys, apparently NOLA Gold signed someone else. Again, I like the stream of signings finally from them after months of being quiet. So they got a guy named, and hopefully he's not listening to this because who knows, I'm probably going to mess up his name, Pesale Rinakama. I want to say Pesale Rinakama. Hopefully it's phonetic like in Spanish. But yeah, he's a former Metropolis player, and also used to play for the Glendale Raptors. So again, he signed with NOLA Gold. He plays fly half, but I think he plays another position. I'm not completely sure, but I know him as a fly half. Also, guys, signed today by NOLA. I'm telling you, on the roll. We had the famous Matt Houston, center, occasional flanker. He's from North Carolina, for Charlotte specifically. Also played for the USA Southern Panthers, and used to be also in the Ohio Aviators. Almost forgot to mention, also signed with NOLA. I know, speaking of the guys from Red, White, and Black Eye, I'm sure Mr. Preston is quite happy. He's a big fan of his, and apparently the two of them played at one time together. Also, we got Bobby Jones that has also signed with NOLA. Telling you, just like, who's also center, by the way. Telling you, NOLA, like, on the roll, 3 guys, boom, boom, back to back. So let me offload that to Aaron.
I mean, I wasn't surprised by Bobby Johns. He and Cam Falcon were lifting Atlas stones, and it was posted on their on NOLA's Facebook page. So, yeah, good signing. Already knew about it. But let's go to Austin Elite. They signed Zinzan Alan-Puddock. He's South African. He moved to Dalhart, Texas when he was, he was 16 years old. From South Africa. He's played with some other U20s players from, when he was in South Africa, and then they moved here earlier than he did and played for the Junior All-Americans. But Dalhart, Texas, if you've ever been there, there's this big cowboy with 2.6 guns standing. I think it's like 30 feet tall. It's not really that awesome of a place, but he picked up football. And he was recruited to play at West Texas A&M, spent a year there and decided to transfer, went to Arkansas State. He was a standout on their back-to-back CRC Sevens championships in 2012 and 2013, was a junior All-American and All-American honoree in 2012, 13, and 16, and was also an honorable mention for 15s in 2016. 2013, he played for the Woodlands Exiles in their run during the Club Sevens National Championship Tournament, and also appeared in the same year for the All-American Sevens at Rugby Town. He was on the Huns D1 National Championship team, and of course, keeping those guys together is going to be a priority for Austin Elite Rugby. And then another guy who's currently still at Arkansas State is, I'm going to mess this up, I know, Sione Fangawia, or is it Fangauia? I don't know. But he's a center. He's coming off a knee injury. He will graduate in December from Arkansas State with a computer degree in computer science. He was a first-team All-American Sevens selection and an All-American honorable mention for 15s. He's from Canberra. He's played both league and union and started playing when he was 10. His previous union clubs in Australia were Tuggeranong and West Houston Lions. Dan, you have this awesome question that I think I might be able to answer.
I do. Okay. My question is, will Todd Clever make an appearance with the Austin Elite Rugby? Is it a formal signing or not?
So, as we all know, he's in the ownership group of Austin Elite Rugby, and on their social media platforms, Austin had stated he had retired from professional play. But if you were watching Flow Rugby covering the Austin's Captain's Club event at the Irish Consulate, Todd had stated he had not made his decision yet, but the time was fast approaching to make that transition. But he's been enjoying playing 10s for fun down in South Africa and also at Aspen. So
I think he'll come back at one point, like a celeb appearance just for one match every so often. I mean, Chris Wiles retires from National. Why can't – and he's still playing professionally. Why can't Todd Clever?
I mean, he's in shape, so.
Yeah, he's really in shape. I think he's still good to go.
And I think from a fan perspective, it's really appealing thinking about having him, basically endorsing this league and putting his stamp of approval on it. I mean, obviously he's invested, he's an owner, so he's already there, but I'd love to see him suit up and get out on the pitch for a little bit. Yeah, it'd be a lot of fun. Maybe first match of the season or something, just run a few plays and call it good.
Have him come out with the American flag too. That's what I want to see.
Yep, absolutely.
And the shield.
Guys, so we're going full Captain America on him. So we got some news out of Seattle as well. It sounds like the Seawolves have formed a new partnership with the Seattle University. And they're developing, this is related to Seattle University's Masters of Sports Administration and Leadership. And so it's kind of a pathway for students from that school to get involved in a professional sports team to put into practice some of the stuff that they are learning in the classrooms. I mean, obviously, administration and leadership implies that that's going to be a lot of back office stuff. And so that could be a really good thing, and I think I'm not sure if this is something that's been mandated by MLR, or if it's just something that I've seen a few teams do and others think it's a good idea. But anytime you can get other organizations, other outfits involved in your club and in your league, I think it's a good thing. And I think that's, once again, one thing that MLR has done an outstanding job at, as opposed to, like pro. It is all about the community. It's all about bringing folks in from different places. And to me, that's very appealing and very exciting. And so I look forward to seeing what other teams are going to do kind of in that realm as well.
Yeah, we sort of saw this with Dallas when they were still a go but we really don't know the full extent of this. But anything that provides labor via internships to Seattle, and providing professional experience, and this will also provide a case study of a brand new sports organization coming in and trying to do something world class. I think that will be helpful. But Dan, you have a few more observations than I do.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head there. It is free labor, which is very important for a new team. But more realistically, it is nice to see another program from a school get involved. I think this is the only MBA program. I might be completely wrong about that, but I think the others were more like sports science related, but this is more like sports administration related. So, every team really should be doing this. First, it is, like Corey said, it's free press in a new outlet. Many of these people may have never heard of rugby before, so it's another way to help promote rugby that way, or at least MLR. And it's a great way to get these students involved who are based locally. They get to work for a professional team. It may not be as big as a team like the Seawolves or the Sounders. I think those are the only two, unless the Supersonics come back to Seattle. So definitely not as big as those, and people may want to work with them because of the name recognition, but this could really offer a more, intimate setting for these interns to really work with, since it's a much smaller organization. You can work directly with a lot of the owners and everything like that. So I think that really provides an amazing opportunity for them to get involved with something on the as it's growing. And Victor, I'm going to offload this to you. I know we talked about this last week, so I'm going to make sure to tell you. Here you go.
Thank you, Dan. I appreciate it. It makes it a lot easier. So I'm expecting these types of relationships from all MLR teams. Creating relationships with colleges and universities to help their curriculum, as well as helping their rugby players, if the institution has a rugby team, getting them into professionalism. So what better way of combining the academic with the sport? I think that's great, and you already get things started. Not only again with the I guess you could say the free promotion of the team, but also getting those new college students into a sporting setup. You get them going, you grab them, and if they're really good, you keep them. And for example, if they're players and they come into the setup like that, but they don't make it from the, like say, from the backstage side, but they make it rather on the front stage, rather on the field. Again, it's a win-win situation. So I love it. So let me offload that back to Dan or Corey.
Well, all I was going to say is, once again, that's anytime we can bring the community in and get them more involved, let's do it. That's going to bring in fans. So, guys, I think it's time for some news. Dan, you've got first up this time around.
Yeah, so the MLR has a new website up. It's looking a lot nicer than the old one. Did not see this coming up really anywhere. But there's also on the team page one more spot that's held on a to be announced, which we assume would be the San Diego team, which has been, I guess, announced by other sources, not by the MLR. However, it also doesn't have Kansas City or Dallas as we expected, but while it's not a complete confirmation that they will not be joining, at least for the first season, the fact that they're the only two not on the website kind of does confirm that. Also good to see that they actually posted it on Facebook, just saying that there's a new page, and I think they actually advertise or whatever that is, and they got a lot of responses. I think like 1,700 likes on there, and a lot of people commenting that clearly have never heard of the league before. So I hope that is at least the first start into actual advertising of the league, rather than just sort of posting on Twitter that there's going to be some games coming up or something like that. I don't know, but that was really, really good to see that too.
Yeah, one of the other interesting things that came out of that was we were discussing the new page on our subreddit, and one of our contributors actually mentioned that I want to say it was Utah, I think, had the wrong name listed on the website. I think it just said Utah Rugby Club or something like that. And so somebody pointed that out, and we actually had somebody else off of our sub say, "Oh, thanks for the good catch or the good edit." And a few minutes later, that was changed. So I think we've got MLR probably watching the sub as well. So, and just once again as a plug, yep, we got a spy. That's over at, let me pitch the address, reddit.com/r/MLRugby. So come join us over there.
Well, I mean, it's crowdsourced reporting on the public record. And, I mean, we sort of cleaned up our stuff because we like to use multiple sources now that we are in the media. However, we're not – there's no password. It's not some, like, dark web or anything. So feel free to spy. However, I do know several MLR executives – do pay attention and do post from time to time. So at least two I know are paying attention. So I would say there's more going on. If you it looks
players
like,
too.
Yeah, players, yeah. There's like at least two players that I know for a fact are posting actively from time to time. But it
shout out to Rugger Rob.
Rugger Rob!
What up, man?
Don't actually shout, though. That hurt my ears.
But it looks – someone said, hey, it looks like the MLS site. And I was like, yeah, it does. And then so do some of the other MLR team pages as well. But if, like I said, if homie's a league plant, just say who you are. We don't – I mean, it's not a big deal. We're not going to slander you.
Nah, we're happy to have you guys on there. We love MLR. That's why we're doing this. So feel free to comment and like and do anything else you want, or tell us we're wrong. We like that too. So
I like corrections.
Absolutely, and we'll put them on air. So what else you got, Victor? I think you got something for us today, don't you?
Yes, I do. Now, speaking of the MLR website, I do like the update to the website, I have to say. And I'm expecting that the unannounced San Diego team is going to take that spot. And I'm not losing hope on Dallas. I really do hope Dallas comes. But as far as I'm concerned, again, who knows? May come, may not. But hopefully we're going to get that San Diego team finally on that consume side of the team's tab. And yeah, that's pretty much that. I mean, I'll float that back to Aaron.
So the Constellation Field Strikers matches ticket prices were announced. You had anything from $15 all the way up to $75 per match for a suite. And overall, like on the aggregate, I think the majority of the tickets are decently priced. You know, a good seat's $25. The issue I had really was with the luxury suite price in year one. However, I'm pretty sure they had no control over the ticket prices at Constellation Field. Yeah, what do you
Now
think?
that's a baseball field being converted for rugby, right?
That is correct.
It's a minor league baseball field, so it's not too huge, but I think it might be similar to like Round Rock or whatever that stadium was where the Eagles played last year, or Dell Diamond. I'm sorry, I don't know what the names are.
Yeah, Dell Diamond and Round Rock. Yeah.
Okay, whatever. So yeah, it should be similar to that if anyone's actually seen that. Part of the field would be kind of awkward, but there's really, at least at this stage, there's nowhere else to be that can actually fit a rugby match. And it's a preseason match, so I'm not going to really get on them for a preseason match not being in the best stadium, especially when I'm in New York and I can't actually go to the stadium to watch it. So I'd be complaining about a lot of nothing. But here's hoping that those prices aren't too high. I'm hoping that they're a bit hopeful, that they will get a decent sized crowd, based on the setup they have. And really looking forward to and hoping that this isn't sort of like, I guess the phrase is like sad high school football setup, which I think a lot of teams may have, at least club wise. They're like 5 fans scattered throughout the entire audience. But I'd really like to see a lot of word get out there locally with clubs, with football teams, anything really, just to get people involved, just to get butts in seats, really. I think that's ultimately the biggest thing that the Strikers are hoping for.
Yeah, and I know working with our minor league baseball team on advertising and stuff here in my hometown, that stuff's pretty set in stone by the management and ownership of the field. So it's very possible, like Aaron said, they don't actually have control over those ticket prices. It could also be that the ticket prices are in fact more, and Houston is, subsidizing those prices a little bit. My hope would be that they would actually have some ticket giveaways, maybe reach out to some of the local clubs, and have a good chunk of those seats taken, guaranteed to be taken so it looks good on film, or if they stream it or whatever they're going to do. And I think that's another issue. We got to hope that they're going to be able to post these so we'll be able to see them somewhere. That'd be fantastic. I know I'm eager to see the Strikers, and I know I'm not going to be able to make it down to Texas anytime soon. So fingers crossed for some streaming options.
Okay, I guess I'll jump on that one. So I also like the prices, guys. Although I don't know how it is for the people that are paying all the way in the back, like the luxury area, because I guess it looks kind of weird from up there watching a rugby game. But who knows? It may work. And also keep in mind that they're putting a rugby field inside of a baseball place, so it was going to look awkward regardless. Now, I guess probably the exception will be when they have the Rugby World Cup sevens coming up in San Francisco. They're going to have that in AT&T Park, where the San Francisco Giants play. But of course, we're talking about a minor league field in comparison to one from Major League Baseball, which is a lot bigger. So that one can definitely fit a rugby field, and I guess it's not going to look as accurate as in this one for Constellation Field or Dell Diamond, although Dell Diamond worked anyway. So, but I guess Dell Diamond might be a little bigger in comparison. I'm not really sure of the specific dimensions of both fields, but yeah, we'll see how that works.
So field-wise, just an addendum, field-wise, it's big enough to hold a pitch. The issue is that no high school football field in Houston met the width specifications, which is 70 meters wide is the required width for World Rugby. So that's why they're playing, at Constellation Field. And again, their facility should be ready for the first match in April. But, Dan, ball is yours.
Ball is mine. Yeah, so I think moving on from the field and everything like that, Austin Elite Rugby are having their combines this weekend. So I'm kind of excited for that. I haven't seen as much announced so far as we have heard from Houston. So we are past the deadline to register for the combines, but it'd be really interesting to see what comes out of it. I'm expecting at least over the next couple of weeks some player announcements, since we already have 3 so far, which I think only 2 are actually from the Austin Huns organization. I think that Sione has never been involved with them, though I could just be making that up off the top of my head.
That's correct.
Yeah,
I think verified. He also played with the Blacks during the summer, one of the summers, but he has not played with the Huns.
Somewhat familiar with him then. So we're looking forward to seeing a lot of bigger announcements coming out of Austin. We may actually have to have Grant Colback on from This Is Texas Rugby, our favorite Texan. Aaron, are you actually from Texas? I can't remember.
No, I was stationed at Fort Bliss for 3 years, and I played in the Rio Grande Rugby Union and not Texas Rugby Union.
Oh, okay.
So
he is actually confirmed to be our favorite Texan. So we may have to have him back on, but you should definitely check him out if you do want to see some news over the next couple of weeks. This is Texas Rugby. He's very active on Facebook. He's also active on our Reddit page too. He seems to be a fan that we get from time to time. So yeah, that's all I have on Austin though. But Aaron, you're headed down to Austin soon.
So
right?
I'm taking a trip in 2 weeks for Baylor homecoming weekend, and we're taking a long trip just because of Well, we didn't really take a vacation this summer. My girlfriend is a this just in from the GM, Thierry Dupont. The combine is full, so you can no longer register.
Hey, all right.
There you go.
Congratulations to Austin on that.
I didn't actually see that text, so as far as I'm concerned, you just held up your phone and said, "Yeah, that's it." Got a text from him.
Ooh. Yep.
Got more news on there, or is that it?
So I'm going back down to Austin for my girlfriend's parents live in the Austin area, so I'll be there for Baylor homecoming weekend. But I have some days where I need to get out of the house, so I will be doing a site survey with Austin Elite Rugby and developing some content for the show with the general manager, Thierry Dupont. Not sadly, the head coach is unavailable because he's touring North America, and he's not in town. So we'll get everything set up so we can get Alain Hiarde on a line out coming up. And then I'll also be going down to Houston and meeting up with Grant as well during that period. So it's going to be a fun trip.
Touring North America sounds kind of interesting. I don't know if that's coincidental or involved with rugby, or if he just wants to visit the country that he's going to be working in. But that just sounds kind of nice right there.
Aaron, be sure to log into Instagram and share a bunch of photos from down there, will you?
Definitely.
So I don't know about any of you guys, but I got an email from the Rugby Channel this week telling us that the inevitable price hike is coming, since they are the Netflix of rugby in this country, apparently. But they are moving their prices up. They're currently at $4.99. They have been since the launch of the channel, $4.99 a month, and they're moving to $7.99 a month, effective 5 days from now or 6 days from now, October 15th. So if you are a subscriber currently, they're offering you a year at $50, $49.99 to lock in that cheaper price. So if that's something you're interested in, I'm not sure if it's open to everybody or just current subscribers, but jump on there and subscribe if that's something that you want to support and want to be a part of. So I know I've been subscribing since it launched. With the price change, I'm going to have to consider that. I mean, it's not a lot of money, and they do provide us some content that I can't get other places. So it's something I'm considering. I'll just have to make that decision as I get closer to October or mid-October here. So, Aaron, I know you've been rather outspoken about the Rugby Channel in the past.
So, I don't like the model because, it puts the Eagles behind the paywall, and that's your marquee product. And, if you don't get that, in front of people, you're not going to grow the awareness of the game and say, hey, we have a national team. People don't really know we have a national team. And, I think the model's been dying because I saw the USAR financials and it looked like there were only 3,000 subscribers last year. I was told that there were like 5,000 subscribers for last year, but that is incorrect based on, the money that came in. I haven't been a subscriber in a while because the server often fails and you end up with technical difficulties. And then the same thing with the free content is the same when they were broadcasting Club 7's live. But hey, NBC Sports Gold, Six Nations on the Rugby Pass. So the $60 one, which puts you at $5 a month for NBC. Now that I can get behind.
Yeah. I kind of have to jump on that too. I was really excited to see the news come from NBC that they're going to have the Six Nations, because right now at least before that news launched, the only option I had to watch the Six Nations was to go to a bar at around 10 or 11 in the morning, and there's usually only very specific bars I could go to that would actually have it, and then pay $20 cover to go in to watch the match, which is obviously a huge pain. They made it seem like that was not the bar's choice. Like they just had to pay that money. But it was like $20 just to watch the match. That's, I mean, they were still full because there's obviously a good amount of expats here, but it was just really annoying to have to pay that. And now I already have gold anyway, so I don't have to pay anything. I can sit here in my underwear basically watching it. I can't do that at the bar. They kick you out for that. So I'm really happy about that. As far as the rugby channel, yeah, it kind of sucks that the price is going up. It's not that much. I kind of have to get it if I want to watch the Eagles, unless there's another way to watch it. I actually have no idea. But I didn't know about those numbers either, the 3,000. It's really not that many people who are paying to watch this. And those 3,000, like, out of those 3,000, I mean, I can't think any of them would be fans who are completely new and just want to watch rugby. Those are almost definitely currently rugby players or fans who just happen to want to continue to watch rugby or want to watch the Pro 14 because that's also streamed on there. But I agree, it's really not a good model. I don't like that you even have to put your password in every single time you log in. It just seems really old, dated. It doesn't seem very good at all, so I'm not a big fan of that. Victor, how about you? What do you think? Offload here.
Thank you. Well, I was not aware of the price hike until now, so thank you for the heads up, guys. And I did get the email actually, but it went to my spam section, so didn't saw it. But in any case, now I know it was happening with that. So I've been subscribed to the channel since the beginning because I sort of feel that I want to help out U.S. rugby that way. But 3,000 people. I'm only one of 3,000. That's horrible. That's barely any money coming in. But I guess it's something if you want to be positive about it. But yeah, guys, this thing with NBC now grabbing the Six Nations, really glad. Now, if you really think about it, rugby here in the U.S. is now controlled between three services. So you got the Rugby Channel, NBC Sports Gold, and ESPN. So ESPN holds the Rugby Championship, the Mitre 10 Cup in New Zealand, and they have the top 14. I don't know what happened with those two. They're not showing anything. The Mitre 10, apparently they're going to start putting up the games from semifinals onwards. Top 14, I don't know, maybe next year when they go to semifinals as well. They also own the rugby, the European Challenge Cup and Champions Cup as well. So again, between those three entities. But hopefully, as the rugby channel sort of phases out, if it does, eventually NBC and ESPN will grab that. Hopefully NBC, because NBC is like really pushing the game, and I really do appreciate that. Oh, also, by the way, because we're talking about the fact that that Grant Cole is our favorite Texan, trying to make sure that we're clear that our favorite Californian turned Arizonan is Aaron Castro. So I just want to make that clear right now.
Wait, is it Californian turned Arizonan or is it Arizonan turned Californian? I always get those two confused.
It's Californian turned Arizonan.
See, only I of four is paying attention.
Good job, Victor.
But so I'm looking at the ESPN, and they only have Army versus Iona on Saturday. So I wonder what's up with the top 14 rights. I've sent in a query. I have not gotten a response. But I know a query. A query.
A query?
Yes.
There should be inquiry?
Query.
A query.
Is it a query? Okay.
An inquiry and a query are similar but different things.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
But,
well, English is my second language, so anyway, I'm wrong. So it's cool.
Query, question. It's good. It's good.
Okay.
So Army versus Iona is on at 11 if you want to watch that on Saturday. But
on TV or just streaming?
On just streaming.
Yeah.
Watch it, guys. Iona's really good.
Available on just streaming.
Yeah. So, yeah. Also, if everyone pays attention to Alex Corbs, there's going to be 3 matches that are live. One of which that are live on NBCSN, 2 of them, and then Ireland. I think he said Ireland versus England will be live on the Peacock
What?
on the flagship on NBC itself.
Well, at like 3 o'clock in the morning, or
Well, like 3 o'clock for me. I don't know about you guys.
Well, I think he said that there are going to be 3 rounds on TV and 2 from each available. I don't know if that's what you just said. My computer just blacked out.
Well, I know that it was at least 3 matches. It might be more. I don't know.
He said it was 2 from each round.
Oh, that's
rounds 1, 2, and 5. Rounds 3 and 4 were not. They're only available through Gold because of the Winter Olympics. Yeah. Which, I mean, they could still make them basically for free, or at least through regular NBC Sports rather than have it Gold. But I don't really care at all. It's a very fair deal. It's a very good deal. But 1, 2, and 5, 2 matches each are going to be live on TV.
I just remember paying through the nose for BN Sports back when I had DirecTV, and they owned the rights for the Six Nations, and it was never on, like ever. I don't. You had to like go to a bar that had the pay-per-view for it. I didn't understand. Like they must have VPN'd or something.
You're wasting your money.
Yeah, I was. It was like $200 extra for a year.
Wow, the Six Nations
for BN.
Oh, okay.
And BN previously on the rights for Six Nations the last 3 years. So.
Why else would you want it? They have some rugby there, otherwise, don't they?
Yeah, I guess. So
sounds like this is a good deal then.
Yeah,
going forward to have NBC involved.
It's legit.
Well, and honestly, from NBC's perspective, they can kind of sort of like they've done with the Olympics. They can grab hold of this and be the last word in rugby for the United States. And as the sport grows, I think they can really do a good job fostering that and increasing viewership. Hopefully, so I would love to see a game. Even if it's not in prime time, just on the flagship. Even during the day, that would be amazing to be able to just tune in and watch on my local NBC affiliate here in town. Actually see rugby live. That'd be crazy. Or even tape delayed. I'd take that. So I know when we were watching the Olympics and they're having the sevens, a lot of that times that was delayed, and it was still great to see it on TV. So
yeah, it was. I've heard a lot of complaints about NBC, especially from people who watch the Premier League, the soccer, and all the reviews of NBC Gold's app were like 1 star and just saying how terrible it was, and it just would stop working all of a sudden. I've had no issues at all with them so far. I think
rugby seems good.
Yeah, rugby seems fine, which is good. I don't care about soccer. I actually really hate the sport, but as long as rugby works, that's all I care in life, really. It's as simple as that. As soon as they stop working, I'm going to be pitchforks and torches, and then...
Hey, you're a paying customer. You have that right.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I think it's a good time to hit on one of these rumors that have been floating around for a while. Speaking of professional rugby, Aaron, what did you see this week coming off of the USA Rugby subreddit?
So on the USAR subreddit, it's there. A guy stated that there was going to be a Super Rugby match promoted by AEG. He didn't cite a source. Supposedly it'll be, I think he said 2 South African teams. Previously, sources have stated the Stormers are we're going to back the Minneapolis Tornadoes LLC. And, well, they pulled their money from there and shifted over to a San Diego team that has yet to announce everything because, they're just getting spun up. But no cited sources.
So it's going to happen.
I guess
guaranteed.
Yeah,
absolutely. It was on Reddit. It has to be real.
Has to be real.
It's real. I mean, it's on Reddit, right?
Yeah, it makes sense. It'd be awesome to see it happen, but I'm just making this very clear. There's no source. This is 100% rumor, spicy rumor coming through, and there was just nothing behind it other than someone who may be in the know. Maybe he is the head of AEG Rugby. I don't know. We don't know that.
Well, one of the things we kind of do look for, even when we are dealing with stuff that seems fantastical, is if it's a source we trust, we're maybe more inclined to believe it. And I don't know much about this source, so I don't know if we can say this is definitive or not. Do any of you guys know, has the U.S. ever hosted a Super Rugby match? Have they played here before?
I think so.
Super Rugby specifically? I don't know.
In the United States.
As far as I know, it has never happened in the States.
They've hosted Super Rugby nations before, like New Zealand and stuff, but never, from my knowledge, a Super Rugby specific team. It does make perfect sense if it was the Stormers, because if they do have their San Diego franchise, they're going to say, hey, let's try and build up some rugby sensation, and then also tie in that there's this other league going on. I don't know how that works, but something else.
Also, it makes sense to have it in San Diego because you have a large contingency of South Africans, white South Africans that live in that area. So it makes sense.
Yeah.
So, also, when it comes to Super, that just like with the Pro now 14, there's been rumors about a Super franchise coming to America for, going on a decade.
Yeah.
So
AG also owns the LA Galaxy's soccer field, so it could happen there. You never know.
Yeah.
Be a good deal there. I'm just adding more to the rumor, man.
We're just gonna take a real wait and see approach on this one.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get a call from Dan over at AEG, and he'll fill us in.
Yeah, maybe he'll come. Maybe the captain will drop me an email and say, "Why the heck did you talk about this?" But I was like, "Hey, unverified rumor right there." Now going into another rumor that was dropped in our DMs, which I found on Facebook. So it's out. I don't know if the T's and the I's are crossed on this or not. But Houston versus Capital Rugby Union selects. It's it's currently on the Capital Rugby Union open Facebook group, and there's about 15 comments on it. So people are talking about it. People are excited. However, the last time the Capital Rugby Union selects formed and played, they were on the wrong side of the score sheet. So just to banter on.
Yeah.
So somebody's gonna have to tell me a little bit about this group or this outfit, Capital Rugby Union. So what's their deal?
So Northern Virginia and Washington D.C. and I think Maryland.
Most likely Maryland too.
Let me look this up. They formed the Capital Rugby Union, so they're an SRO.
Yeah.
Well, it makes sense because that's already in the MDVA area, plus Washington D.C., which is shared between Maryland and Virginia. So it makes sense that you have those two places in the District of Columbia as the union, at least in my opinion.
So it's basically the geographic union for the D.C. area. And someone posted on there, I actually pulled it up, saying that the select side will be taking on the Houston Strikers of Major League Rugby in an exhibition match at Constellation Field in Houston. The match will take place on Saturday, February 3rd, 2018. So it wouldn't be the first match. It'd probably be the third match if there was one. But, we don't know exactly how true this is, but someone made up this whole thing and posted it. So,
yeah, it's up. It's out there.
Yeah, it looks like the person who posted may actually be pretty involved with Capital Rugby. I don't know if that's true. But this was actually sent to us by someone, so it's kind of weird how it was like a screen grab, basically. But shout out to them for actually sending it to us. I can't remember who it is, though.
Hang on.
I don't know.
No.
But this is exciting. This is further development from the Strikers. We're starting to see those exhibition games come about, and I for one am thrilled. I think anytime we can get these rumors going, get that hype train rolling on the track, that's good for the Strikers and that's good for the league. So I'm all about it. This is exciting stuff. Can't wait to hear who else are going to be playing here in the next few months. So,
plus, if you think about it, all the people who are on the Capital Selects or whatever, they would be potential MLR players because they would be, theoretically at least, the best players from that geographic location. So, you never know. Some guys out there.
And by the way, guys, speaking of the area of NDVA, actually a couple of days ago on our Instagram, Earful of Dirt, I got a very interesting person following us now on Instagram, a gentleman with the name of Ryan Burrows. He is a rugby league player that plays for the USA Hawks. He's now following us on Instagram. I got the chance to talk to him through a direct message. I sent him a couple of pictures of some jerseys that I have with his name in the back. He was overblown, saying, "Oh my God, bro, thank you. I appreciate the support." So him and I talked a little bit, and I said to him, "Hey, Ryan, once you're done with this 13 stint, I'll be waiting for you at 15s, bro." He just laughed his ass off and said, "Okay, I'll let you know." So, cross my fingers. He's from Northern Virginia. He used to play for the Northern Virginia Eagles out of the USA Rugby League. So that's the reason why I mentioned him. So obviously, shout outs to Ryan if he ever listens to this, and obviously best of luck at the Rugby League World Cup coming up at the end of the month.
Yeah.
Earful of Dirt, recruiting one player at a time.
That's right.
Was it? I just looked at Capital Rugby Union. Yeah, so it's Virginia, DC, and Maryland.
Boom, told you.
Yeah. So there's
Nailed it.
Makes sense.
Told you. MTVA.
DMV, man.
we say NDVA, and when I say we Smash Bros players. We say MTVA to refer to that region.
I don't play.
It's okay. It's video games. It's okay, guys. I not only just do rugby and geography, I also do video games. Super Smash Bros.
The
follow up on
video game
Tuesday.
podcast is on Fridays.
Exactly, guys.
Victor is a busy man.
Yes, I am, guys.
A lot of podcasts.
Keep in mind, guys. Super Smash Bros. Melee, Fox only, Final Destination, no items. That's the best. That's the way you play.
All right.
Plus, he's got a live stream channel on YouTube that is just him cutting carrots.
You imagine that?
And grading. And grading carrots.
Cutting them and grading them carrots? You imagine that?
Crazy.
Chopping up carrots. Oh, yeah.
Making
Everyone
love
wants to
podcasts. We'll do that.
Oh, man.
It's after midnight on the East Coast. I think we're getting a little weird.
Oh wow, it is. Actually, I was actually while you guys were talking about chopping carrots, I saw that post that we just mentioned was actually posted by the director of high performance from the Capital Rugby Union.
Oh well.
So it wasn't just a random person who's like, "Hey, look at this! I'm posting this." It was.
So it's the selector.
Yeah, I guess it is the selector. And maybe that's why he posted it, because it's telling people, hey, by the way, there's this game coming up, just so you know, but not actually advertising it anywhere else.
Yeah.
So that's there.
All right.
All right, guys. So what do you say we take some questions from Bob?
Let's go.
This week, Sneaky Worm checked in to send us a few questions. We're going to start up north, and Sneaky Worm wants to know, if there is a Canadian team in 2019 or 2020, will there be a mass exodus of Canadian players from existing MLR sides heading back up north?
No. I think these guys are trying to escape the snow.
Yeah, I don't think there'd be a huge exodus. I mean, I think that if the Vancouver and Toronto teams both come through, and those seem to be the two hubs of rugby in Canada or Canada, it seems like people will probably stay there. I mean, at least to play with their teammates. I mean, it makes sense if you're already in the area, it's local, and you want to play with your national team. What's the Canadian team called? Because we're the Eagles.
Canucks.
Les Rouges.
Are they actually the Rouges?
No one calls it Rouge.
Les Rouges, the Reds.
the official name, whether or not people actually, I don't know.
No, it's the Canucks or the Maple Leafs.
No, the Maple Leafs are the second side.
No.
Right, so the Canadian men's national team, we'll just refer to them as that.
Okay, so Canucks
Yeah.
is the English nickname, and Les Rouges is the French nickname. Just
Okay.
It's tough when you have two languages.
Okay, Quebec people. Okay.
Hey, Aaron, you may want to check your phone because I think Brian Ray is calling right now.
Why did you give him my number? Bastige.
Getting a call from New Brunswick.
Okay, so
anyways, guys, to answer the question real quick, I agree with everyone else. No, I don't think we'll get an exodus of players going back north. It will be cool to get a couple of the ones that we already know down in NOLA and Seattle, but no, what I want is an exodus of Canadians from Europe coming back to North America. And I already talked about this before when Brian was on. That's what I personally want.
Good deal.
Very good. The other thing Sneaky Worm asked us about was whether there was any word on the length of contracts for players in MLR. So anybody hear anything on this?
No, I got nothing. But Brian Ray, our friend in America's Rugby News, seems to think they're only going to be year-long deals and no transfer fees. However, I'm inclined to believe that these are at least, 1 to 2 year deals, but have team options on the back end. And I would think that they put transfer fees on there because, they're finding and developing the players. And, rumor has it that the PRP is going to contract their players as well. And they will, that are ready to go with World Rugby Regulation 4 so that they can get some money back.
Yeah, I mean, all my information's really from Brian Ray, at least what he believes to be the contract length. But the league is also brand new, so it's not in, I guess, the biggest position to offer certain people or demand from certain players. Obviously, a lot of these players have not played too much overseas or professionally before, so I may just have backtracked on everything I just said 2 seconds ago. But I think 1 or 2 years really. I don't see. There's really not going to be any long-term contracts. I don't see that happening at all. I doubt there'll be 3 or 4 years, but I think it'd just be 1 or 2, maybe 3 years to begin with, just because it's a brand new league. I can definitely see a lot of players getting an opportunity overseas after the first year, just like what happened with Pro. There's some good names out there who jumped ship. So
I think as a new league, it makes sense just to have the contracts being just 1 year, and then later on, if things get better and continue on, just to extend those. But I'm expecting that with MLR unearthing a couple of new players like Pro did, we're going to get a couple of, let's say, like, for example, Langi Halpakuis or David Tamala, who's coming out of the league and transitioning either to the United Kingdom or France.
There's also the chance that they may sign a player thinking that they're good, but they've never really truly seen them before because there's not too many ways to really watch them. And it turns out that they're trash compared to the rest of the league, putting it lightly. So they may not want to lock themselves in too long with some of these players, especially because money is also an issue. They don't want to be stuck in with a long-term contract with a player, and the player's really not worth the money, and you're just kind of wasting money that you don't really have to waste.
By the way, guys, speaking of Langi, oh, I'm sorry. I was going to say, since I mentioned Langi Halpakui, can please someone sign that man? We need that man playing again. Seriously. Can someone sign Langi Halpakui, especially if San Diego's going to have a team? Can you bring that guy, please? Thank you.
I was going to say the only exception to that, I would think, would be overseas professionals that are coming here to kind of bolster the teams. And I know that's something that Pro did to some pretty good effect. And I know that several of the teams have invested in overseas players as well. So from a developmental standpoint and, for a prestige standpoint, I think it's valuable to have some of these overseas professionals and lock them down for an extended period of time because, let's say, strikers or whoever, they've got somebody that is just outstanding and, is a prestigious player in his own right who comes over here to play. It would be good to know that you're going to be able to have him locked down for 2, even 3 years potentially to really build that base up and start to build a fan base for your outfit. So I think that would be one exception where it could be valuable.
Definitely the overseas players are going to have more than 1-year deals just to secure those visas, especially with the way the visa processing is currently going right now. So
that's true.
Now, I know when we were discussing this topic on our subreddit, Dan, you had brought up the question about whether Canadians would be counted as international players and whether they would be limited in MLR to how many could play on a team. Do you guys have any thoughts on that?
Well, if there's going to be a Canadian team in 2019 or even 2 Canadian teams in 2019 and, the communications with the union are going, speaking of, the chair of Rugby Canada follows us on Twitter. So, find that out. I would say no. At least I'd hope not. But what I really want to see is Americans go play in the North and a bunch of Canadians come down here. And, there just be an exchange of ideas and players.
Well, guys, in more sports here in North America, counting Canada, USA, when there's a Canadian team involved, usually Canadian players are not counted towards internationals. It is the case in Major League Soccer. Baseball obviously is completely different. Basketball, I don't think so. And I guess in ice hockey, you got teams where everyone's Canadian. You got like 3 Americans, and that's super stupid. But when it comes to soccer and rugby, I would assume if MLR follows MLS, Canadian players should not be counted as internationals, or will not be counted as internationals.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't make sense. And this is my question, so I don't have any answer, obviously, but I can just ramble incoherently for the next couple minutes. It makes sense. Yeah, do it. It makes sense not to place a limit on the Canadians for a couple reasons. The one biggest reason that would be best suited for MLR is the plan is to have at least 2 more teams come in from Canada. So if they want this to be beneficial for the league, they want there to be as many good players coming from where the league is played. Having, English or Australian, that's different because we're not going to have clubs based there. It just doesn't make sense. But we have clubs based here, basically in North America. It doesn't make sense to limit North Americans as part of the team. It's just kind of stupid if you want to. I mean, Canadians are basically Americans, but just a little weirder. So I don't see the difference, really.
You heard it here first, folks.
Which is the reason why they count Mexican players in MLS and not Canadians, because since they speak English as their first language, you count Mexicans.
Yeah. Canadians can sneak in. They can pretend to be Americans.
Well, Mexicans too if they're in the South. Right, Aaron?
True.
Well, you have Mexicans. Well, of course you have Mexican, Aaron. Of course. Tu gente. You need to agree.
My people. But, yeah. And then we got our favorite questioner.
Yes, the one I can't pronounce. Ayul. I'm going to go with.
Tell us how to pronounce it phonetically, please.
Yeah, I would be fantastic. Just instant message us or something.
Use
AOL Messenger.
AIM.
Rest in peace.
It's still there.
No one uses it though.
Just for a couple more days.
Is it going down or is it just going to be unsupported?
No, they're just getting rid of it.
Oh, yanking
it. It's going away.
That's MySpace.
So I still have a MySpace page.
Me too.
I mean,
I haven't logged in a decade, but it's
I'm
still
sure
there.
it exists, but I haven't, touched it in 10 years.
Yeah.
At any rate, Ayul is curious. Why don't you guys promote the podcast more? Why don't you post episodes on our rugby union or over at tier2rugby.com? So
yeah, so I've got a long
what's
answer.
wrong? What the hell is wrong with us? Honest to God.
So we promote, the podcast in multiple locations. We're on the opening kick either every Wednesday or every Thursday for This America Rugby. And then I post the link for the live show, usually before we go live, into 2 Facebook groups whose total membership combined is over 20,000. I guess Dan or I or Victor will start pushing the link in our rugby union. But if it's not really European or super rugby centric, things tend to get drowned out, except for we'll talk about that one. But I guess but Tier 2 Rugby, which I'm a member on, you can see me at the Strobro. I post a lot in the USA Rugby thread. And there's only 708 members of Tier 2 Rugby. I mean, great discussions, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm also just kind of lazy. I have a lot of good ideas, and I say we should do this. Or at least I think they're good ideas, but then I don't actually do anything about it. So that's just me. But we're also new to this, so we're taking it step by step.
Well, I don't check out Tier 2 Rugby forums much. I do check out the website whenever they put something, which is not very often. But I mean, I will go and post a little more if it makes you or Ayul happier. So I have no problem with that. Now, when it comes to the Rugby Union tab on Reddit, I cannot say that if it's not European or Super Rugby related, people don't bother to check it out, because when Pro Rugby was last year, I remember seeing a lot of people from Europe, from South Africa, Australia, and New Zealand watching those live streams on YouTube. So I don't know. When MLR comes out, who knows? It might be the same like it was with Pro Rugby.
Yeah, I think once that's true. I think once it actually happens, people will get kind of excited on there. I think this is actually something we want to transition to, which works well, is that the Seattle Seawolves made a Seattle Seawolves specific subreddit and then actually posted on the Rugby Union Reddit page just saying announcing professional rugby in Seattle or something like that. This sounded kind of nice, and it actually got a lot of people on there who were like, well, this is actually kind of awesome. Rugby in Seattle. I love Seattle, but most of them were Europeans or foreigners for the most part. But overall, they seemed really receptive to the idea. They're like, what is this? What is this league? Isn't there already a team there? Will it conflict with the Saracens? And then a lot of people on the MLR subreddit basically just jumped in to try and answer some questions too. So it's kind of funny seeing a lot of people on there.
There was some good banter in there.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, I know that every MLS team has their own subreddit, and I know like NFL teams have their own subreddit, and I know there's only 500 people that we've got. We've built up from 0 to 500, about 500 now, in 6 months for our MLR, and it's like really active, whereas the USAR subreddit has about 2,000 subs, and it's not active at all. But, I don't see the point for the moment, but I could definitely see the point in maybe next year or the year after, but not, we haven't even played a match yet.
People are just excited to talk about it, I guess. They want a place to talk. There's really no other place to talk about MLR other than like Twitter, because first of all, the league doesn't really exist yet. That's really the first part. There hasn't been a single game. We don't even know where the first preseason game will be, so that's the first part. So we really have to take it. I completely lost my train of thought. I'm really sorry. I had something good going, completely lost it there.
It's all good, man.
I'll just offer to someone else now.
Well, Corey almost shut the Reddit down.
I did. That was because once we had that discussion over on Rugby Union, somebody pointed out that we were kind of breaking up our audience, and we should just post all the MLR stuff over to the Rugby Union subreddit. And yeah, I mean, I totally see their point. I mean, we only have 500 people. Granted, we're one of the most active, certainly the most active American rugby community, but that doesn't mean much. I can go ahead and trash that and just switch over to Union and post all the junk right there. That won't get lost or anything. I'm trying this new thing called sarcasm. I'm not sure if I'm doing it right because we don't actually have that in the Midwest.
You're doing
but
great.
I'm trying. No,
great.
Not to get too Papa Bear on you, but MLR rugby or ML rugby is kind of my baby, and I'm really proud of where we've come, and I think we're going to have to do something special on the pod when we finally hit that 500th member. Where I think tonight we're at 489, so we're 11 people away from 500. That's half 1,000.
You got a free MLR jersey. Does anyone actually have one? Aaron, what's that you're wearing there? Is that a Utah Warriors jersey? That'd be nice to give away.
Well, no. I rightfully earned this.
By tagging 7 people or something like that?
I tagged 8 people and 2 Eagles. So
stay tuned. Hopefully we'll have some giveaways sooner rather than later. Maybe we can track down some MLR swag or something to give away on air. We'll have some sort of contest. We'll come up with something fun, or maybe we'll do a Twitter contest or
what we
Reddit
need to
contest.
do is when we get that YouTube money, make Earful of Dirt shirts.
Hey, there you go.
Everyone's going to want that.
All right, guys. Any parting thoughts for the evening?
Yeah, let me grab some right there, guys. So first of all, thank you guys for joining us on the live stream of Earful of Dirt. Pleasure to have you. As I usually always say when my computer is not letting me down, which it didn't do today, which is great, subscribe to our channel at YouTube called Earful of Dirt Fancast. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, as I mentioned, posting pictures every day, trying to get the content going. So obviously it makes it work for you guys following us. Of course, add our podcast to iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Player FM. Hopefully all those are working, and you're not going to text me telling me that one of them is not, like an episode's not on, and I had to tell Corey about it because I know him a little bit. Obviously, leave us a review, as Aaron said last week and the week after before that. Oh yeah, before that, 5 stars, gets a shout out. Please do that. Of course, also call us at our phone number, which is 1-720-600-2679. Again, that's 1-720-600-2679 to leave us some voicemail so we can obviously put up on the show, and obviously join us on our live streams every Monday at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific. With all that said, let me put that to someone else who wants to say anything else before we go.
Great show, guys. I will see you on the boards.
See ya.
Deuces.
Good night.
Connect with Earful of Dirt anytime. We're on Facebook and Twitter as Earful of Dirt. You can email us at earfulofdirt@gmail.com or call and leave us a voicemail at 720-600-2679. Until next time, for Aaron, Dan, and Victor, I'm Corey. Thanks for joining us.